Captain Jay Wu walked across the bridge of the ship called Harmony. His boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. Outside the big windows, Earth looked peaceful. Blue oceans, white clouds, and green land patches made the planet look like a jewel floating in space. Jay had been the captain of this ship for 10 years. The Harmony was special. It was the biggest and best ship that humans had ever built. Other alien races in the galaxy respected it. They respected humans too. For 300 years, humans had been the peacemakers of the galaxy. When different alien races fought, they called humans to help solve their problems. "Captain," said Dr. Ara Kim. She was standing near a computer screen that showed numbers and charts. Ara was the ship's expert on alien life forms. Her face looked worried. "Something strange is happening." Jay walked over to her. "What do you see?" Ara pointed at the screen. "The energy coming from Earth's center has changed. The pattern is different. This has never happened before." Jay looked at the numbers. He did not understand them as well as Ara did, but he could see they were not normal. How different? Very different. It started 20 minutes ago. The change is getting stronger. Lieutenant Min Wu, Jay's younger brother, came running onto the bridge. His face was pale. "Captain, we have a problem. All communication with Earth has stopped." Jay felt a cold feeling in his stomach. "All of it?" "Yes, sir. Every city, every base, every ship near Earth. They all stopped talking at the same time. No distress calls, no emergency signals, just silence." Jay looked out at Earth again. The planet looked the same as always, but something was very wrong. "Sir," said another officer, "the other ships in our fleet are trying to contact Earth too. None of them are getting answers." Jay made a decision. "Min, take a team down to Earth. Find out what is happening. Take the fastest shuttle we have." Min nodded. "How many people should I take?" "Take 5 good officers. Be careful. Stay in contact with us." "Yes, sir." Min left quickly. Jay watched through the windows as a small shuttle left the Harmony and flew toward Earth. It looked very tiny compared to the big planet. Dr. Ara Kim was still looking at her computer. "Captain, the energy readings are getting stranger. It's like something is wrapping around the whole planet." "Wrapping around it?" "Yes, like a blanket made of energy. But this energy is not natural. Someone or something is making it." Jay felt the cold feeling in his stomach get worse. In all his years as captain, he had never seen anything like this. Humans were known for being calm and peaceful. They solved problems with words, not weapons. But right now Jay wished he had bigger guns on his ship. 2 hours passed. Min's voice came through the radio. He sounded confused and scared. "Captain, we're on the surface now. We landed in New Tokyo, but something is very wrong here." "What do you see?" "People, sir. Thousands of people. But they're all just standing still. They're not moving at all. Their eyes are open, but they don't see us. They don't react to anything." Jay felt his hands shake a little. "Are they alive?" "Yes, sir. They're breathing. Their hearts are beating. But they're like statues. We've checked 50 people so far. They're all the same." Dr. Ara Kim grabbed Jay's arm. "Captain, look at this." On her screen was a message. It was being sent from Earth to every ship and station in the galaxy. The message was simple, but it made Jay's blood feel like ice water. The message said, "Our children sleep. We remember what we were before we learned to smile." "What does that mean?" asked one of the officers. Jay did not know, but he felt that something terrible was beginning. More reports came in from Min's team. Every city on Earth was the same. Millions of people standing still like statues. They could not wake them up. They could not get any reaction from them. "Sir." Min's voice came through the radio again. "There's something else. We found some writing on the walls of a government building. It's in a language we don't recognize, but our computers translated it." "What does it say?" "It says, 'The harvest begins. The sleepers will remember. The galaxy will learn to fear again.'" Jay looked at Dr. Ara Kim. Her face was very pale. "Captain," she said quietly, "I think someone has attacked Earth, but not with weapons, with something that affects the mind. Who would do this, and why? I don't know. But humans have been the peacemakers for so long. We've made a lot of friends, but maybe we've also made enemies. Jay thought about this. Humans had helped solve thousands of conflicts between alien races. Most aliens were grateful, but some aliens might not be happy about human interference. "Sir," said another officer, "we're getting messages from human colonies all over the galaxy. They're all reporting the same thing." "What thing?" "Humans are having strange dreams. Dreams about fighting and war. Dreams about things that never happened in human history. But the dreams feel real." Jay felt the cold feeling spread through his whole body. Whatever was happening to Earth was affecting humans everywhere. "Captain," Dr. Era Kim said, "I think we need to contact the Galactic Council. This is bigger than just Earth." Jay nodded. The Galactic Council was the government that ruled most of the galaxy. Representatives from hundreds of alien races worked together to keep peace. Humans had been important members for 3 centuries. "Send the message," Jay said. "Tell them Earth has been attacked. Tell them we need help." As the message was sent, Jay looked out at Earth one more time. The planet still looked peaceful and beautiful. But now he knew that something evil was hiding behind that beauty. Something that wanted to hurt humans. He did not know what was coming. But he knew that the peaceful time was ending. The galaxy was about to change in ways that no one could imagine. And somewhere in the darkness of space, ancient eyes were watching. Ancient minds that had been waiting for this moment for a very long time. They were coming back to finish what they had started long ago. The war was beginning again. Dr. Hana Lee had not slept for 2 days. She worked in a laboratory on the moon, in a place called Luna Base. The base was built inside a big crater protected by a clear dome. Through the dome, she could see Earth floating in the black sky. But Earth did not look normal anymore. Hana was one of the best scientists who studied human genes. Genes were like tiny instructions inside every human body that decided how people looked and acted. Right now, she was trying to understand what had happened to all the humans on Earth. "The energy field around Earth is not natural," she said to her assistant, a young man named Kai Lim. "Something is creating it, something very powerful." Kai looked at the computer screens around them. Numbers and pictures moved across them very fast. "What kind of energy is it?" "It works on thoughts and minds. It's like someone built a machine that can reach into people's brains and turn them off." Hana had been studying the energy field for hours. It was unlike anything humans had ever seen before. The energy did not hurt people's bodies. Instead, it reached into their minds and made them sleep while they were still awake. "Dr. Lee," said another scientist named Dr. Bo Park. He ran into the laboratory holding a tablet computer. "I found something important in the old files." "What kind of files?" "Very old ones. From before humans joined the Galactic Council. From the time when Earth's history was different." Hana knew what Bo meant. Before humans became peacemakers, there had been a time when human history was not well known. Many records from that time were missing or locked away. The government said those records were not important anymore. "Show me," Hana said. Bo put his tablet on the table. On the screen was a document that looked very old. The words were in an ancient human language that computers had to translate. "This document talks about something called the Devourers," Bo said. "They were beings made of pure thought. They had no bodies. They lived by eating the thoughts of other living things." Hana felt her heart beat faster. "When was this written?" "About 4,000 years ago. But here's the strange part. The document says humans fought a war against these Devourers, a war that lasted for thousands of years." "That's impossible," Kai said. "Human history only goes back 3,000 years. Before that, humans were just simple farmers and hunters." Bo shook his head. "That's what we were told. But this document says something different. It says humans were warriors. Very dangerous warriors. They fought the Devourers across the galaxy and won." Hana read the document carefully. The more she read, the more worried she became. According to the document, humans had not always been peaceful. They had been soldiers who could fight in ways that other aliens could not imagine. "There's more," Bo said. He showed them another document. "After the war, humans made a choice. They decided they were too dangerous to exist as they were. So they changed themselves. Changed how? They used science to change their own genes. They made themselves peaceful. They buried their warrior nature so deep that even they forgot about it." Hana stared at the documents. If this was true, then everything humans believed about themselves was wrong. They were not naturally peaceful. They had made themselves peaceful on purpose, Dr. Lee, Kai said quietly. Look at this, he was pointing at another computer screen. This one showed reports from human colonies all across the galaxy. The reports all said the same thing. Humans everywhere were having strange dreams and memories. Memories of things they had never done. Memories of wars they had never fought. The energy field around Earth, Hana said slowly. What if it's not meant to hurt humans? What if it's meant to wake them up? Wake them up from what? From the peaceful sleep we put ourselves in. What if someone is trying to bring back the old humans? The warrior humans? Before anyone could answer, alarms started ringing throughout Luna Base. The lights changed from white to red. A voice spoke over the speakers. All personnel report to emergency stations. Unknown ships detected approaching Earth. Hana and her team ran to the observation deck. Through the big windows, they could see space around Earth. There were ships there that had not been there before. But these ships looked wrong. They seemed to be made of shadow and darkness. They moved in ways that normal ships could not move. Those are not human ships, Kai said. They're not any kind of ships we know, Bo added. Hana watched the shadow ships move around Earth. They were doing something to the energy field around the planet, making it stronger. Her tablet computer beeped. A message had arrived from Captain Jay Wu on the Harmony. The message was short but frightening. Luna Base, we have identified the enemy. They call themselves Devourers. They have returned to finish the war. Hana felt like ice water was running through her body. The Devourers were real. They had come back after thousands of years. And they were doing something to wake up the warrior nature that humans had buried. Why? She asked out loud. Why would they want to wake up human warriors? If humans defeated them before, why would they want to fight humans again? Bo was reading more old documents on his tablet. Dr. Lee, I think I found the answer. Look at this. The document he showed her was different from the others. It was written by a devourer, not a human. The translation was difficult to read, but the meaning was clear. The document said, the humans think they have won by making themselves weak. But they do not understand. We do not want to fight weak humans. We want to fight strong humans. We want our greatest enemy back. Only by defeating the true humans can we prove we are the strongest beings in the galaxy. Hana understood now. The Devourers had not come back to destroy peaceful humans. They had come back to restore the warrior humans and then defeat them. It was about pride and honor in some twisted way. They want a real war, she said. They want to fight the humans they remember, not the humans we became. More alarms rang through Luna Base. Reports came in from across the galaxy. Human colonies were changing. Humans who had been peaceful farmers and scientists were suddenly building weapons. They were remembering how to fight even though they had never learned. Dr. Lee, Kai said, his voice shaking, what if the Devourers succeed? What if they really wake up the old human nature? Hana looked out at Earth, surrounded by shadow ships and strange energy. She thought about the choice humans had made thousands of years ago. They had chosen to be peaceful because their warrior nature was too dangerous. Then, she said quietly, the galaxy is about to remember why it used to be afraid of humans. On Earth, the humans who had been standing still like statues began to move, but they did not wake up. Instead, they began to change. Their eyes became different. Their faces became harder. Deep inside their minds, something that had been sleeping for thousands of years was starting to wake up. And in the darkness between the stars, other ancient beings felt the change beginning. They had been watching and waiting for their chance to attack the peaceful galaxy, but now they began to worry. If the true humans were returning, maybe it was time to hide again. The war that everyone had forgotten was about to begin again. And this time the whole galaxy would see what humans really were underneath their smiles. Bin Kang stood in the ruins of an ancient building on a planet called Kepler 442b. The planet was very far from Earth, in a part of the galaxy where few people ever went. Bin was an archaeologist, which meant he studied old buildings and objects to learn about the past. He had been working on this planet for 3 months, digging through ruins that were thousands of years old, but what he found today changed everything. The building had been built by the Devourers long ago. Bin could tell because of the strange way it was constructed. The walls were made of a material that could hold thoughts and memories like a computer holds data. When Bin touched the walls, images appeared in his mind. "This is incredible," he said to his assistant, Dr. Choi. "The Devourers left records here, records of their war with humans." Sue was a small woman with very sharp eyes. She was an expert in ancient languages and symbols. "What do the records say?" Ben touched the wall again. More images flowed into his mind. He saw humans fighting in space, but these humans looked different from modern humans. They were harder, stronger, more fierce. They fought with weapons that could destroy entire planets. "The war was not what we thought," Ben said. "Humans did not just fight the Devourers. They completely destroyed them. Every Devourer city, every Devourer ship, every Devourer hiding place. Humans hunted them across the galaxy like animals. But some Devourers survived, only a few. They ran away to the empty spaces between galaxies. They hid there for thousands of years, afraid to come back." Sue touched a different part of the wall. Her eyes went wide. "Ben, look at this." The Devourers were not the only ones who were afraid. The images in Sue's mind showed something else. After the war ended, other alien races in the galaxy were terrified of humans. Humans had shown that they could destroy any enemy completely. Other aliens worried that humans might decide to destroy them too. The aliens asked humans to change themselves, Sue said. They begged humans to become peaceful. They were afraid that humans would conquer the whole galaxy. Ben found more records. These ones showed what happened next. Human leaders met with alien leaders from across the galaxy. The aliens offered humans anything they wanted. Technology, resources, entire planets. If humans would just stop being so dangerous. And humans agreed, Ben said. They chose to change themselves rather than rule the galaxy through fear. But why? If humans were so powerful, why did they give up that power? Ben touched another section of the wall. The answer came to him in the form of human memories that had been stored there somehow, because they knew what they could become. They saw that they might destroy everything, including themselves, so they chose a different path. The records showed how humans had used advanced science to change their own genetic code. They made themselves naturally peaceful and calm. They buried their warrior instincts so deep that future generations would never know they had existed. For 300 years it worked, Sue said. Humans became the peacemakers of the galaxy. Everyone loved them and trusted them. But now the Devourers are back, and they're trying to undo what humans did to themselves. Ben's communication device beeped. A message was coming in from Dr. Yuna Choi, who worked at a research station called Proxima Station. Yuna was one of the best scientists in the galaxy at understanding how different alien minds worked. Ben, Yuna's voice came through the device. I've been working with alien scientists here. We've figured out what the Devourers are really doing. Tell me. They're not just trying to wake up human warrior instincts. They're trying to make humans angry. Very angry. The energy field around Earth is designed to bring back not just human fighting ability, but human rage. Ben felt cold. Rage was different from just being able to fight. Rage made people do things they would regret later. Why would they want humans to be angry? Because angry humans are careless humans. The Devourers think that if they can make humans angry enough, humans will make mistakes. Then the Devourers can win the war this time. Sue was still touching the wall, reading more records. Ben, there's something else here. Something the Devourers didn't know about. What? When humans changed themselves to be peaceful, they didn't just bury their warrior nature. They made it stronger. All that fighting instinct, all that tactical intelligence, it's been building up for 300 years. Ben understood what she meant. It was like pressing down on a spring for a long time. When you finally let go, the spring jumps back much harder than before. The Devourers think they're going to fight the same humans they fought thousands of years ago, Ben said. But they're wrong. They're about to fight humans who are much more dangerous than before. More messages came through their communication device. Reports from human colonies across the galaxy. Humans were changing everywhere, but they were not becoming angry and careless. They were becoming calm and focused. Their peaceful nature was not disappearing. Instead, it was combining with their returning warrior instincts. On a planet called New Sol, human farmers had built military weapons in just 2 days. But they had done it calmly, methodically, like they were planting crops. On Mars, human scientists had developed new battle strategies that no one had ever seen before. They worked together perfectly, sharing ideas and improving each other's plans. On Europa, human children were drawing pictures of space battles. But the battles in their pictures were not chaotic and violent. They were precise and efficient. They're not becoming monsters, Sue said, reading the reports. They're becoming something new. Something that combines the best of both human natures. Bin's device beeped again. This time it was a message from Captain J. Wu on the Harmony. All human ships and colonies, this is Captain J. Wu. The Devourers have begun their attack on Earth, but something unexpected is happening. The humans on Earth are not just waking up. They're evolving. Through the device, they could hear other voices in the background, officers reporting from different parts of space. Human fleets were appearing everywhere. Ships that had been disguised as cargo vessels were revealing hidden weapons. Colonies that everyone thought were just mining operations were launching military spacecraft. How is this possible? Sue asked. How could humans have prepared for this without anyone knowing? Bin found the answer in the final section of the Devourer records, because some humans never forgot. Deep in human government, a few people always remembered the truth. They spent 300 years preparing for the day the Devourers might return. They knew this would happen. They hoped it wouldn't, but they prepared just in case. The records showed secret factories built inside asteroids, hidden military bases on distant planets, weapons research disguised as peaceful science projects. For 3 centuries, while most humans lived in peace, a small group had been quietly getting ready for war. And now all that preparation is activating at once, Bin said. A new voice came through their communication device. It was Admiral J. Wu. Apparently Captain J. Wu had been promoted very quickly. All human forces, this is Admiral J. Wu. The Devourers wanted to remind us what we used to be. They have succeeded, but not in the way they expected. We remember now. We remember what we chose to become, and we remember what we chose to leave behind. Today we choose to be both. We are the peaceful guardians of the galaxy, and we are its most dangerous protectors. Let the Devourers learn what that means. Bin and Sue looked at each other. They were archaeologists, not soldiers, but they could feel something changing inside themselves too. Knowledge they had never learned was appearing in their minds. Tactical information, strategic thinking, fighting skills they had never practiced. The Devourers made a mistake, Bin said. They thought they were bringing back the old humans. But they've created something new, something much worse for them. Outside their shelter, the stars seemed to be moving. But it was not the stars that were moving. It was human ships, thousands of them, appearing from hiding places across the galaxy. The peaceful humans were going to war, and they were going to fight in ways the galaxy had never seen before. The Devourers had wanted their ancient enemy back. They were about to get their wish, and much more than they had bargained for. The Galactic Council building was huge. It floated in space near the center of the galaxy, where representatives from hundreds of alien races worked together to keep peace. The building looked like a giant wheel made of metal and glass, spinning slowly in the darkness. Inside the main meeting hall, chaos was everywhere. Alien representatives were shouting at each other in dozens of different languages. Their translating computers could barely keep up. Everyone was scared and confused about what was happening with the humans. Ambassador Tai Han walked into the hall. He was tall and calm, wearing the simple blue uniform that human diplomats always wore. For 20 years, Tai had been the voice of humanity in the Galactic Council. Other aliens trusted him. They knew him as a peaceful man who always tried to find solutions that made everyone happy. But today, Tai looked different. His eyes were harder. His face was more serious. When he walked, it was with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what he was going to do. "The human representative is here," shouted Chancellor Vex, the leader of the council. Chancellor Vex was a tall, thin alien with blue skin and forearms. "Ambassador Tai, we demand to know what is happening with your species." Tai walked to the center of the hall. All around him, hundreds of alien eyes stared down from the circular rows of seats. These aliens had worked with humans for 3 centuries. They thought they knew everything about human nature. "Honored council members," Tai said. His voice was calm but somehow different from before. "You are witnessing the return of humanity's true nature." "What does that mean?" demanded Senator Crix, a reptilian alien with sharp teeth. "Your people are mobilizing military forces across the galaxy. This violates every peace treaty humans have signed." Tai smiled, but it was not the warm smile that aliens were used to seeing from human diplomats. "Senator Crix, those treaties were signed by humans who had forgotten what they truly were. We remember now." "Are you threatening us?" asked Representative Nala, a bird-like alien whose feathers were puffed up with fear. "No," Tai said simply. "We are explaining. For 300 years you have known us as your mediators and helpers. You thought that was our natural state. You were wrong. Peace was our choice, not our limitation. The hall erupted in angry voices. Some aliens demanded that humans be removed from the council. Others wanted human colonies to be inspected by galactic military forces. A few wise older aliens said nothing, but their faces showed deep worry. Chancellor Vex raised his forearms for silence. Ambassador Tay, reports indicate that human forces are building weapons that violate 17 different galactic treaties. Weapons of mass destruction, planet killers. Are these reports accurate? They are. The simple answer sent shockwaves through the hall. Aliens who had been shouting fell silent. Everyone stared at Tay. Then you admit that humans are breaking galactic law? Chancellor Vex asked. We admit that we are doing what is necessary to protect the galaxy from an enemy you do not understand. The Devourers have returned. They are beings of pure thought who feed on the minds of living creatures. They cannot be negotiated with. They cannot be reasoned with. They can only be destroyed. An old alien named Elder Zesh spoke up. Elder Zesh was one of the few beings in the galaxy who was older than human civilization. I remember stories of the Devourers, ancient stories that most people think are myths. They are not myths, Tay said. Humans fought them once before and won. But the cost of victory was so high that we chose to change ourselves rather than remain the creatures capable of such destruction. What kind of creatures? Asked Representative Nala, her voice barely a whisper. Tay was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his words chilled everyone in the hall. The kind of creatures that could hunt an enemy across the entire galaxy. The kind that could build weapons capable of destroying solar systems. The kind that would never ever stop fighting until every last enemy was dead. And now you're becoming those creatures again? Chancellor Vex asked. No, we're becoming something better. We have 300 years of wisdom to guide our power now. We know the cost of war and we know the value of peace. But we also know that some enemies can only be stopped with force. At that moment, alarms began ringing throughout the council building. Emergency lights flashed red and blue. A voice spoke over the speakers. Emergency alert. Unknown hostile forces detected in the outer systems. All council security forces to battle stations. Chancellor Vex looked at Tay with fear in his eyes. Is this your doing? No, it's theirs. On the main viewing screen of the hall, images appeared of space battles happening far away. Shadow ships that looked like they were made of darkness were attacking peaceful alien colonies. But these were not Devourer ships attacking defenseless civilians. They were Devourer ships being destroyed by human fleets. The aliens in the hall watched in stunned silence as human warships fought with precision and efficiency that seemed impossible. The ships moved like they were parts of a single organism, coordinating their attacks perfectly. When Devourer ships tried to use their mind-affecting weapons, the human ships seemed completely immune. How are they resisting the Devourer mental attacks? Elder Zesh asked. Because we know what they are now, Tay explained. Our scientists have developed mental shields. Our soldiers have been trained to fight enemies that attack the mind instead of the body. More images appeared on the screen. Human ground forces were attacking Devourer bases on planets across the galaxy. But these were not wild, angry attacks. They were careful, methodical operations. Humans rescued alien civilians first, then systematically destroyed every Devourer facility they could find. You've been planning this, Chancellor Vex said. It was not a question. We've been preparing for the possibility, Tay corrected. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's an old human saying. For how long? 300 years. The hall fell silent again. The aliens were beginning to understand. While they had been enjoying the peace that human diplomacy brought to the galaxy, humans had been quietly preparing for the return of their greatest enemy. On Mars, Tay continued, General Nari Shin is implementing battle plans that were developed over centuries. Hidden factories are producing weapons designed specifically to fight Devourers. Soldiers who thought they were farmers and scientists are remembering training they never knew they had received. This is impossible, Senator Crick said. How could you hide military preparations for 3 centuries? Because you saw what you expected to see. Peaceful humans building peaceful colonies. You never looked deeper. You never asked why human colonies always seemed to be in strategically important locations. You never wondered why human research stations were always heavily shielded. More reports came in from across the galaxy. Human forces were appearing everywhere. Ships emerged from asteroid belts where they had been hiding as mining operations. Planetary defense systems that had been disguised as weather control satellites came online. Human colonies that aliens had thought were small farming communities revealed themselves to be major military bases. Every human colony is a fortress, Tay said. Every human civilian has basic military training. Every human ship can become a warship in hours. We never stopped being a warrior species. We just learned to be warriors who choose peace. The screen showed more battle scenes. Devourer forces that had expected to find easy targets were instead finding coordinated resistance from humans who fought like they had never forgotten how to wage war. But the most important thing, Tay said, his voice carrying across the silent hall, is that we're not fighting alone. On the screen, new images appeared. Human ships were working together with alien defense forces. Humans were sharing their anti-devourer technology with other species. Human medics were treating wounded aliens. Human engineers were helping to rebuild damaged alien cities. You're still acting as protectors, Elder Zesh observed. We told you, Tay said. We are warriors who choose peace. The devourers threatened that peace. So we choose war, but we wage war to protect, not to conquer. Chancellor Vex looked around the hall at all the other alien representatives. Many of them looked ashamed. They had been quick to accuse humans of betraying the galaxy, when humans were actually saving it. What do you need from us? Chancellor Vex asked finally. Tay smiled, and this time it was the warm smile that aliens remembered. Just stay out of our way. This is our fight. We'll handle it. But even as he said those comforting words, Tay knew the truth. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The gentle mediators were revealing themselves to be the most dangerous species anyone had ever encountered. And while they fought to protect the galaxy, that same galaxy was learning to fear them again. The age of innocent peace was ending. What came next would depend on whether the galaxy could learn to trust warriors who chose to be guardians. 6 months later, Admiral J. Wu stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Harmony. But the ship looked very different now. What had once been a peaceful diplomatic vessel was now a powerful warship, bristling with weapons designed to fight beings of pure thought. Through the main viewing window, Jay could see the last Devourer stronghold. It was built inside a dying star, hidden in a place where most species could never survive. The structure looked like a massive web made of dark energy, wrapped around the star's core. Admiral, said Commander Min Wu, who now served as Jay's second in command. All fleets are in position. We have them surrounded. Jay nodded. Around the dying star, thousands of human warships waited in perfect formation. It had taken 6 months to hunt down every Devourer hiding place in the galaxy. This was the last one. Any word from the surface teams? Jay asked. Dr. Ara Kim reports that all Devourer breeding chambers have been destroyed. Dr. Hana Lee confirms that their central consciousness network is failing. They have nowhere left to run. Jay felt a strange mixture of satisfaction and sadness. The Devourers had wanted to restore humanity's warrior nature, and they had succeeded. But they had also sealed their own fate in the process. Sir, said Lieutenant Ray Park from the communications station, we're receiving a transmission from the Devourer stronghold. Put it through. The main screen flickered and an image appeared. It was hard to look at directly because Devourers had no physical form. Instead, the screen showed swirling patterns of darkness that somehow suggested a face. Humans, the Devourer said. Its voice sounded like whispers from 1,000 throats. You have become what we wanted you to become. Warriors again. Destroyers again. We have succeeded. You have failed, Jay replied calmly. You wanted us to become monsters. Instead, you helped us become something better. Better? You have hunted us across the galaxy. You have destroyed entire star systems to find us. You have become more ruthless than you ever were before. Yes, Jay said, and we did it all to protect innocent lives. We became ruthless so that others could remain peaceful. That is the difference between the old humans and the new ones. The Devourer's image shifted, showing confusion. You speak of protection, but you wield power that could dominate the galaxy. Why do you not take control? Why do you not rule? Because we learned something in our 300 years of peace. Power without wisdom leads to destruction. We have the power to rule the galaxy, but we have the wisdom to choose not to. Behind Jay, Dr. Ara Kim was monitoring the energy readings from the Devourer stronghold. Admiral, their core systems are collapsing. The stronghold will be destroyed in minutes. Jay opened a channel to all human ships in the fleet. All vessels prepare to withdraw to safe distance. Mission objective achieved. Wait, the Devourer said. Before we die, we must know. How did you resist our mind control? How did you fight us so effectively? Jay considered the question. In the 6 months of war, humans had indeed fought with frightening efficiency. They had developed weapons and tactics that no one had ever imagined. They had coordinated across the galaxy with perfect precision. And most importantly, they had remained immune to devourer mental attacks. You made one crucial mistake, Jay said finally. You thought our peaceful nature was weakness, but it was actually our greatest strength. You tried to fill our minds with rage and fear, but we had 300 years of practice at choosing calm over chaos, wisdom over anger. Your mental attacks couldn't break through that. And our warrior nature? The devourer asked. How did you combine it with your peaceful nature? By remembering that the strongest warriors are those who fight for others, not for themselves. Every human who took up arms in this war did so to protect someone else. Our farmers fought to protect their families. Our scientists fought to protect their research. Our diplomats fought to protect the peace they had spent lifetimes building. The devourer was silent for a long moment. When it spoke again, its voice was different, smaller, defeated. We wanted our greatest enemy to return. We thought that by restoring your warrior nature, we could finally defeat you and prove our superiority. Instead, we created something far more dangerous than the humans we once fought. Yes, Jay said. You created humans who know both how to fight and why to fight. Humans who can be ruthless when necessary and merciful when possible. Humans who can destroy their enemies completely and then help rebuild what the war damaged. The transmission ended as the Devourer's stronghold collapsed into the dying star. The last of humanity's ancient enemies was gone. Admiral, Min said quietly. Orders? Signal all fleets. Stand down from combat status. Begin rescue and recovery operations for any alien civilians affected by the war. As the human fleet began to disperse, Jay received reports from across the galaxy. The war was truly over. In 6 months, humans had done what many thought was impossible. They had completely eliminated an enemy that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. But the reports also showed something else. On every world where humans had fought, they had immediately begun helping with reconstruction. Human engineers were rebuilding damaged cities. Human doctors were treating wounded aliens. Human diplomats were helping to restore peaceful relations between species that had been disrupted by the war. Dr. Lee is requesting permission to begin the genetic therapy project, Ara said. Jay nodded. Dr. Hana Lee had developed a new form of genetic treatment that would allow humans to consciously control their warrior instincts. No longer would they have to suppress their fighting nature completely. Instead, they could choose when to be warriors and when to be peacemakers. Permission granted. Begin implementation across all human populations. 3 days later, Jay stood in the Galactic Council chambers again. But this time, the atmosphere was very different. The alien representatives were not afraid or angry. Instead, they looked at him with a mixture of respect and cautious admiration. Admiral Jay, Chancellor Vex said, the Council has reviewed the human conduct during the war. Your species' restraint and protection of civilian populations has been noted and appreciated. We did what was necessary, Jay replied. Yes, but you also did what was right. You could have used this war as an excuse to establish human dominance over the galaxy. Instead, you used it to prove that you are worthy guardians of galactic peace. Elder Zesh spoke up from his seat. There is a question that many of us have been afraid to ask. Ask it. Now that the galaxy has seen what humans are truly capable of, what happens next? Will you return to your peaceful ways? Will you keep your new weapons? How should we relate to you now? Jay looked around the chamber at all the alien faces watching him. These beings had lived with humans for 3 centuries, thinking they knew what humans were. Now they had learned the truth, and they were uncertain about what it meant for the future. The weapons will remain, Jay said, not as threats but as tools. We have learned that peace is not the absence of the ability to fight. True peace is the choice not to fight when you have the power to do so. And your warrior nature? Asked Representative Nala, will be part of us always, but it will be balanced by our peaceful nature. We will be ready to fight when necessary, and ready to heal when the fighting is done. Some species are still afraid of you, Chancellor Vex admitted. That is understandable. Fear can be wisdom when facing something dangerous, but we hope that in time fear will give way to trust. We are the same humans who spent 3 centuries helping you solve your problems. We are just more honest about what we are capable of now. As Jay left the council chambers, he received a message from Earth. The humans who had stood motionless for 6 months were finally awakening, but they were not the same people who had fallen into that strange sleep. They retained all their memories of the time before, but they also had new knowledge and capabilities. Earth was beginning to smile again. But now the galaxy knew what lay behind that smile. Not weakness or naivety, but the deliberate choice of the most powerful species in known space to use their strength in service of others. In the months that followed, the galaxy slowly adjusted to this new reality. Some species remained wary of humans, giving them respectful distance. Others sought closer ties, hoping to learn from humanity's unique balance of power and restraint. And in the deep places between the stars, other ancient threats that had been considering attacks on the peaceful galaxy quietly retreated back into hiding. They had watched the war against the Devourers. They had seen what humans could do when aroused to anger. They decided they preferred humans to remain peaceful. The age of innocent peace was over. But the age of protected peace had begun, and at its heart stood humanity. Warriors who chose to be guardians, destroyers who chose to be builders. The most dangerous species in the galaxy who had made themselves its most trusted protectors. Earth smiled again, and the stars remembered both fear and hope.